The most disturbing declassified government documents. This is 20%. Each video I go up will get worse and worse, so make sure to like and follow to keep up. This is Operation Northwoods. The operation was a list of proposals called for by the CIA to actually commit terrorism against the American military, civilian targets, and then blaming them on the Cuban government.
Tonight, we're looking at some government conspiracy videos.
A single bullet was fired from a rifle on a 6th floor window. First, it entered JFK's upper back and traveled downward, exiting through his throat. Then it struck the governor in the back, shattering a rib as it tore through his chest. The bullet continued, exiting the governor's chest and hitting his right wrist, breaking a bone. Finally, it lodged itself into the governor's thigh, where it stayed until removed by doctors in almost perfect condition.
Welcome back, family. Thank you all to the channel members for support. If you guys haven't already, remember to like, subscribe, hype the video up so it gets pushed to more people. Let's go.
They say every single holiday that we celebrate is celebrating one of the 7 deadly sins. Every single holiday. Okay. Think about it. The easiest one, Valentine's Day, celebrates the sin of lust.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, that celebrates the sin of gluttony.
Gluttony, yeah, because you're
eating a lot. You're overeating. You're taking too much more than you need.
Yeah.
Now, Christmas, what do you think that is?
Christmas. Greed?
Yeah. Overconsumption and excess.
Okay.
Right? Wanting more of something.
That makes sense.
We're celebrating gifts. We're celebrating gifts. We're not really even celebrating the birth of Christ because people are so focused on the gifts and shit. St. Patrick's Day. It's sloth because people get blacked out drunk.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. Now, Easter. This one's interesting.
I don't know.
The holiday of Easter, what sin would it be?
Easter. I don't know.
Check this out. This one gets deep.
Okay.
So they say it's
the most disturbing declassified government documents. This is 20%. Each video I go up will get worse and worse, so make sure to like and follow to keep up. This is Operation Northwoods. The operation was a list of proposals called for by the CIA to actually commit terrorism against the American military, civilian targets, and then blaming them on the Cuban government. The plan was formed during 1962, which we all know was the Cuban Missile Crisis. Some of the acts they were going to commit were shooting planes down, sinking boats of Cuban refugees, blowing up US ships, and the worst one is probably the mass murders in US cities. Ultimately, the plan was going to happen and a lot of people in government were behind this, but the only reason it didn't happen is because JFK, the president at the time, said that, no, we're not gonna do it. This just goes to show you how far the government is willing to go to prove a point. I mean, murdering innocent people and then blaming it on Cuba is honestly a new low, so the real question is, what has happened that we don't know of yet? Make sure to like and follow for tomorrow's video.
Word out. Get ready. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kick. Yes, kick. 60 on page 153. At the count of 3, you'll try it again. Get ready from the beginning of that sentence. Get ready.
She played with her goat in her house.
Go on.
She played with her goat in her yard.
Good job. Go on.
Mr. President, are you aware of the reports of the plane crash in New York? And is there anything...
Yo, I wonder what was going through his head, because he looked spaced out for a second. He was reading the books like, dude, what the hell is going on?
Remember what Vladimir Putin said about us being fed other Americans? Not too long ago, Putin did say that Americans are being fed other Americans. And you can't tell me this is what a cow leg looks like. This looks like a small leg or a large arm. But we've been wrong before. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Stay weird.
Honestly, that looked like someone's leg. Yo, I was looking at that, I was like, dude, I don't know if they just packaged the meat weird, but it literally looks like someone's limb. I was like, that's crazy. They ate humans. Disgusting. They ate humans. I wasn't aware of anything. I mean, about the murders, yes. But that they had eaten humans? What the hell? Humans? They smell like human flesh. They won't take me until this is cleared up. They won't take me until this is cleared up. You had me there to make a copy, so No, let me go. Yo, if they for real eating humans, it's clipped, bro. Do y'all think that they put dead humans in the food? Let me know, because I'm pretty sure we have the FDA, right? Like, you can't just do that.
John F. Kennedy was short-circuiting the New World Order. He had ordered the printing of constitutional money, United States notes, which would have destroyed the Federal Reserve, which is not an agency of the United States government. It's a private corporation owned and operated by the world bankers, controlled by the Illuminati. And its purpose was to destroy the middle class in this country and thus our economy. You see it unfolding now. You are seeing, and I predicted this well in advance, you are seeing the destruction of the economy of the United States. And it will continue. It will not get better. It's downhill from here on out. Unless we nationalize the Federal Reserve, lock up the criminals who own it, cancel the debt, which will then bankrupt the Illuminati, which is exactly what we ought to do, print constitutional money, which cannot be usurped, which cannot lead to our destruction, and go back to what we're supposed to do, and quit contracting for benefits. We're escaping from the laws of nature, and there's a terrible consequence for that. You can't contract for somebody else to keep you alive. You have to be responsible within your life to keep yourself alive. And if you can't do it, then you have to die. That's the law of nature.
Another conspiracy theory. You've seen all the grainy footage of nuclear test blasts that you've
Sure.
with the mushroom clouds, and there are always these grainy things, and there's all these like little houses lined up and these little trees lined up, and it blows everything down. Yeah. Okay. So here's the question, right? So what happened? Okay. So this is great. Okay, you'll love this. So what happened to the camera?
You son of a bitch.
How is that happening yet the camera is like totally stable and fine?
Oh my god!
And by the way, and the film is fine. The radiation didn't cause any damage to the film.
Oh my god!
By the way, okay, we'll do this one. We'll do the loop one more time here. Let's see the car.
The car's right behind the house. It just showed up.
Oh,
okay.
It just showed up.
So wait a minute. First of all,
it wasn't there.
First of all, where the car comes from?
Yeah. No car.
The second is, does it really look like
car?
Does that look like a real car?
That's insane.
Is that a house or is that like is that a 12-inch scale model?
What?
Right.
Oh, that does look fake.
Because also the camera didn't move at all either.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the smoke is too big. Watch when it hits. Like the volume, like the size of it, it looks small.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks like we're looking at something that's like a few inches tall.
If you watch like making of Star Wars, any movies before CGI, whenever they do anything like that, it's always with these tiny models.
Yes. Yeah, this looks fake as shit.
Let's get another one. It's like, okay, what the camera's fine.
That's hilarious.
Oh, this is good.
In my head, it's like, dude, the camera could just be zoomed in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really look at it, some of them look super zoomed in. So, I don't know. The camera doesn't really, in my opinion, like, say too much. But I would definitely say, like, the car one was definitely suspicious.
I'll tell you what, I had a CIA agent on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, and it was interesting. I said to him, what keeps you up at night? What have you learned through your past 20 years that genuinely keeps you up at night where you're like, I wish I never knew that, and I'm paralyzed with fear because of this secret that the American public doesn't know? He was like, there's a couple
That's a great question.
He said, the thing that I can share with you, this isn't the number one thing, but this is up there. He goes, the thing that I can share with you is our power grid. We can be put back to the Stone Age, like pre-colonial times, within 5 minutes. If our enemy gets at our power grid, he said our power grids are the most vulnerable power grids of any first world nation. People were able to hack them in a second, and you would have upwards of 100 million people in this country alone within 6 months. He was like, because I'm talking about no power, no water supply, nothing. For 6 months, we would not be able to get it up for at least 6 months. He goes, now we're working retroactively to upgrade these things.
Should we be saying this?
Well, he said, it's pretty public knowledge to the powers that be. But he said that is a thing that absolutely we are in jeopardy of. He was like, it's not no one's going to us. No one's going to invade mainland USA. He goes, even like It might happen again, but it's not gonna debilitate you. He's like, we stop this shit all the time. We're really, weapons and all that. We're so far ahead of every other country. It's not even close.
Someone's gonna come flip a light switch and we're fucked.
He said, but that's how they'll get you. There's no reason to have these weapons like this anymore because they can hit our power grid and then we're all and that's what we're vulnerable at, where other countries aren't. He said other countries have taken money and instead of building and tanks, they're upgrading their tech systems that they're impenetrable. So he was like, so that's the thing that keeps me up at night.
Who do you think really runs the world?
You're going to go there, huh, with the question. So I used to ask the question, I said, who's got the most power in America? You'd be amazed how few people say president. Because they come and go. Famous quote with Putin that he says, American presidents, you don't have to worry about it. They're going to be there 4 to 8 years. Some suits run the country behind closed doors. Is it Congress? Is it the CEOs of virtual governments? We're talking Google, Twitter, Facebook, Amazon. Or is it billionaires? The most richest man in the world. Who's got the most power? So let's go process and dissect some of these guys that make all the money in the world. You become a billionaire and you're still dangerously ambitious. And you're like, well, I want more control. I want more power. What if I can take over the world? Think about what things people are most addicted to. Video games, partying. But what's one of the most addicting things? Power. Are you kidding me? Having a lot of power and getting people that look at you that are afraid of you? Some people love that. Those people, I believe, are out there. Some of them are 100% money people because money talks. There's a lot of those guys that are the brains behind the faces that we see. And most of the times, the best E.F. Huttons, no one ever finds out who those guys are.
What is a government cover-up that genuinely scares you? Project Sunshine was started in 1953, and it was created to study the effects of nuclear fallout on the human body. In particular, they were trying to research the radioactive isotope strontium-90, which I probably said that wrong. But this was thought to have the most serious ill effects on the human body, and scientists wanted to study it more. They decided that the best way to study the effects was to study on human bodies, like people who had passed on their bodies. But in particular, they wanted younger children because their bones were more porous and able to take more of this stuff in, from what I understand. But on January 18th of 1955, Dr. Willard Libby said that there was insufficient data because they were not able to get the bodies that they needed. In fact, he was even quoted saying that there was insufficient data and that he didn't know how to get his hands on these bodies. So he said, if anyone knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they will be serving their country. This would lead to over 1,500 samples to be gathered. Only 500 of them were used, but it would later come out that they had got these bodies in some seriously messed up ways. Many of these young bodies were taken from families in Europe and Australia and the United States without their parents' consent. One British mother came forward and said that she had lost her baby during childbirth, and doctors told her that she could not dress her own baby because it turns out that they had removed this baby's legs and shipped them over to the United States to be studied. So she was not able to dress her baby so that she wouldn't find out what they had done. By 1958, the study was brought to Belgium, and this is where they started studying the effects of nuclear fallout in the soil and how the soil would produce plants that cows would then eat and then we would consume, like the meat and the milk that came from this cattle. But regardless, these children were taken from these families without their consent, and this was a huge government cover-up for a long time. So what are your thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comments and follow for more creepy things.
To anyone who's deep in the rabbit hole, bro, buckle up, bro, because this shit is absolutely insane. So, I took some notes here, so I remember what to say. So, in 1893, this guy named Ingersoll Lockwood wrote a 3-part book series, right? The first one is called Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump. The second one is called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. And the third one is called The Last President, all right? In the first book, Little Baron Trump lives in Trump Castle in Germany. And he finds a manuscript by a man named Don Fum that leads to underground tunnels in Russia that have portals to other dimensions, okay? The first 2 books are just about Baron Trump and his dog, like, exploring all these weird dimensions, right? But this is where it really gets weird, bro. In the third book, The Last President, Don Fum uses these portals to become a controversial president who lives on 5th Avenue in New York. And he basically ruins the price of gold and is super controversial and ruins everything. His vice president's name is Pence, bro. That shit is absolutely crazy, but it gets even crazier, bro. Ingersoll Lockwood lived on the exact same street as Nikola Tesla when he wrote this book series. At the very same time that he was living on this street with Nikola Tesla was claiming that he invented time travel. Like, he deadass was saying, I'm about to make freaking time traveling portals and we're about to do it. And a little bit after, he mysteriously dies in a hotel, and all of his blueprints, all of his inventions are in this hotel when he dies. Guess who gets sent, along with the CIA, to pick up his blueprints? John G. Trump. Trump's literal blood uncle, bruh. Think about it, bro. It gets even deeper, though. Wernher von Braun, Nazi scientist, by the way, founder of NASA, wrote a book called Project Mars in 1953 about a man named Elon who takes everyone to Mars. The founder of NASA. And now Trump and Tesla are working together. They got space and time. Think about it, 5th Avenue right by Times Square. I'm telling you, dog, this shit is a simulation, bro.
The man who took the life of Charlie Kirk had his first court appearance today. Here are the full court documents and everything you need to know. Tyler Robinson appeared virtually. He showed little to no emotion or remorse and didn't say anything other than his name.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson. I'm Judge Graff.
The judge read off the charges, count 1 being aggravated murder, where Tyler James Robinson intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk. Under the following circumstances, the defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. It also highlights that he selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief of perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. It also mentions that the offense was committed in the presence of a child. Count 2 was felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury. Count 3 and 4 were both obstruction of justice. One was for hiding the weapon and the other one was for changing his clothes. Count 5 and 6 were tampering with a witness, one for directing his roommate to delete text messages and the other for telling his roommate to stay silent if police asked questions. Count 7 was violent offense committed in the presence of a child. They also shared the text messages between him and his roommate, which you can pause and read. Here is part 2 of those text messages. They also said Robinson will be appointed an attorney since he cannot afford his own, and that the state formally files to seek the DP. They also issued a protective order for Charlie's wife to bar Robinson from contacting her. Let me know what you guys think about this, and as anything comes out, I'll keep you guys updated.
Because, allegedly, we've had our first communication with the Anunnaki this weekend. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, after the alleged meteorite fell to the ground, a message from the Anunnaki allegedly came through in Alabama, and more specifically Georgia, during a national television broadcast. In this alleged message that lasted for up to 3 minutes, the Anunnaki message claimed to say that they knew about the galactic war that was going on above us in space. They knew about the wars here on Earth. They also knew about the meteorite that fell to the ground, which it wasn't a meteorite. They also claimed that a lot more weird and bizarre and unexpected weather conditions and anomalies would be taking place in the coming months. In this message, the Anunnaki did claim to say that they are here to help. They are not here for any other thing, but they are here to help mankind. Now, have you heard this? And are you perhaps someone who actually saw this message? Now, I have received videos and stories and messages.
A single bullet was fired from a rifle on a 6th floor window. First, it entered JFK's upper back and traveled downward, exiting through his throat. Then it struck the governor in the back, shattering a rib as it tore through his chest. The bullet continued, exiting the governor's chest and hitting his right wrist, breaking a bone. Finally, it lodged itself into the governor's thigh, where it stayed until removed by doctors in almost perfect condition. Now, investigators claimed that this is what happened. A single bullet caused 6 wounds while staying intact. But many argue that the bullet's trajectory is impossible. The angles just don't add up, leaving us wondering if there was actually more than one bullet.
I don't know. I feel like the government definitely admitted to assassinating JFK.
Have you ever found it weird that there's an Egyptian pyramid on the US dollar bill? And on top of that, the Illuminati eye sits right at the top. If you zoom in on the bill, you'll notice a lot of strange things. Devil-like faces, flying saucers, and there's even a hidden phrase written in tiny letters below the pyramid, carrying a terrifying message. It says, Novus Ordo Seclorum, which means New World Order. I bet you don't even know what that really means. Yet countless politicians from all nations have already spoken about this New World Order. The truth is, for hundreds of years, a plan has been in motion, put in place by a family you all know, the family considered the most powerful in the world. They control everything around you from the shadows. Apparently, every year, they hold secret meetings with the leaders of each nation to track their progress on the plan, their ultimate goal, to fully dominate all nations, erase all religions, and create a single type of human, one that moves in the same direction, completely submissive to this elite. You need to wake up fast before it's too late.
Strange theories you've never heard of. Guys, some of the topics on this chart are extremely deranged the further down you go. But we'll start off with volcanoes' real purpose. This is the idea that all volcanoes on Earth are just remnants of old power plants, and that human civilization have gone through multiple cycles of great extinction events. And so these power plants have melted down, and that's why they are now just volcanoes. The phone mafia is just the idea that all the scam callers that you get and receive are all part of a large mafia syndicate that's goal is to steal your information and sell it, which I feel like is closer to the truth than a lot of these other ones. Pancreas denial. This is the theory that the pancreas that you have in your body is more than just a physical organ, but rather your body's third chakra, and that it's responsible for the filtering out of negative energy. However, the government purposefully exposes us to a lot of negative energy to weaken its ability to block bad stuff, and so this leaves the general public vulnerable to the negativity that the pancreas would normally be able to keep away from us. So the pancreas is being denied its normal function. Moon soul catcher. This is just the idea that the moon is a giant soul catcher, and that there was a soul catcher placed on the moon before the age of man by these celestial beings that were benevolent entities that wanted to protect humanity. And so at the end of your life, they catch your soul with this giant catcher and then reincarnated into a body of a newborn baby. And like, even if you experience like a near-death experience, your soul gets caught by the moon and then returned to your body if it's not beyond repair. Paleolithic deep state. First of all, the deep state is the idea that there are these secret groups of people controlling the entire world with secret agendas. Paleolithic deep state is the idea that there is this group that has existed since ancient prehistoric times, and they are these creatures that have evolved alongside humans to secretly push their agendas despite having complete power over the entire world. Nano UFOs and giga UFOs. This is the idea that UFOs can come in different sizes and forms. For example, there can be microscopic UFOs that can exist in like substances that we eat or even in our bloodstream. But then there's also gigantic UFOs that are supernaturally massive and could exist in things like clouds, or they could be stars, or even like cover up the entire sky of the planet. Phantom time hypothesis. This is a pseudo-historical conspiracy theory that claims that nearly 300 years of our Earth's history was made up. So basically, this theory says that 600 to 900 AD didn't exist, and that the Middle Ages never happened because the medieval elite fabricated those years to justify their ascension to power. And because of this, all the history that we know is false. But there's overwhelming evidence that those time periods happened, but I still think it's a cool theory. Nukes weren't made for humans, so this is the theory that nuclear weapons weren't made for humans, but rather were made to combat or destroy these esoteric or supernatural forces, or even destroy things like cryptids. Along with this theory, people think there are these entities that exist on Earth outside of public knowledge, and that even when we were supposed to be doing testing of our nuclear weapons, they were just examples of these weapons being used to obliterate targets that the public could not be made aware of. Anyways, thank you guys for watching another long video on here.
The micro and giga UFO conspiracy that he was talking about reminded me a lot of the Magic School Bus. Y'all ever watched the Magic School Bus? It could literally be in my bloodstream and I wouldn't even know it because it's just so small. That's what that reminded me of.
Did you know that in 1951, the CIA poisoned an entire French village with LSD just to see what would happen? Gerald Morrison was a CIA operative working on mind control experiments. He chose Pont Saint-Esprit, a quiet village in France, as his testing ground. For 3 weeks, Morrison worked with local baker Henri Chaumette to contaminate the bread supply with LSD-25. 230 villagers ate the poisoned bread. What happened next was pure horror. People jumped from buildings, convinced they could fly. Marie Dubois clawed her own eyes out, screaming about worms crawling inside them. Jean Moreau took kitchen knives and cut up his entire family piece by piece. Mothers drowned their children in wells, believing demons had possessed them. Morrison filmed everything, taking notes on each victim's breakdown. The French government blamed ergot poisoning, covering up the truth. In 1975, Morrison finally confessed to the real experiment. An entire village destroyed for CIA research.
I think that AI is a very ancient technology that we're now discovering. In the book of Ezekiel, especially, the vision of them traveling in these craft that are a wheel within the wheel. And so they had to have made these in a different realm, different whatever. So they have a technology. I think our understanding of technology is just different.
I don't think we could even do the math on what that tech would look like because we are in this universe limited by the dimensions we are.
And we're not meant to understand.
Again, we're going to go full circle back where it talks about the days that it will be like the days of Noah. Yeah. I think the days of Noah were way more complicated than just people being bad people, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was just giants, like Nephilim walking around. I think there was this, if you talk about like the Tower of Babel, I believe they truly possessed this heavenly type of technology that could be devastating to humans. It's like the tree of good and evil, right? This is a thing from the heavens that they were probably messing with in the days of Noah because of the fallen angels introducing all these things. And then I think that's getting reintroduced today through potentially AI, quantum computers.
People across America are now getting fired for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. This includes political analysts, firefighters, military personnel, and even teachers. In fact, in Texas, nearly 200 school staff are under investigation by local authorities for social media comments and could have their licenses suspended. And it doesn't stop there because Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned foreign nationals in America, saying, if you are here on a visa and cheering the public assassination of a political figure, prepare to be deported. And also yesterday, Vice President J.D. Vance, while hosting an episode of the Charlie Kirk Show, added to the issue, saying, call them out and hell, call their employers. Some people have even gone as far as putting up a website called Expose Charlie's Murderers, which aims to expose and dox those making insensitive comments towards his murder. And so far, according to a notice on their site, they have already received nearly 30,000 submissions. Now, some say this feels authoritarian and politically motivated, while others say no one has been arrested for celebrating his death, and that people get fired from their jobs all the time for saying stuff on social media. But what do you guys think? Are these fair consequences for someone celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, or is this going too far?
Alright, well, I feel like doxing them is a little bit extreme because why are you exposing where someone lives? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? In my head, it sounds like you're trying to either get them very hurt or killed, because there's no need to dox them. Like, you could report them and be like, yo, this user on Instagram keeps blah blah blah, so people could report him or tell their jobs. Like, I get it, but I don't know, the doxing to me just makes it too much. Like, you're doing too much with that. But I definitely don't think people should be out here mocking and cheering because someone died, you know what I'm saying? Because that goes against everything that we really want. We want people to express how they feel, no matter if it's good or bad, without getting absolutely obliterated, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you don't want to spread hate, but if someone has a certain opinion, you don't want to just eliminate them because of it.
Thank you all for watching this here video.